Okay, so I've been asked to do a video on this bulk capacitor here. The circuit is live now. So what I'm going to do is to test to see if this is charging. And so I've connected the mains AC and I'm reading here 117.7 or zero point 0.7 volts or 117.8 volts. It varies a little bit. And what we have here is a 60 Hertz cycle power supply. So I'm going to do the calculation which for the voltage that we should get off this bulk capacitor. Okay, so I'm testing my mains voltage and let's see what we get. We want to put this on AC and change the range to volts. Alright, and we should get a reading there. So I'm getting 115.5.6 volts, and that is a RMS value. So what I want to do now is to change this to DC and measure the capacitor voltage. So I'm DC, and now I want to get the voltage in hundreds. So I'm going to connect up my capacitor. I haven't plugged it in as yet. Right, that's one lead. We connect the next lead. And that is the other lead. Now I'm going to plug it in and get this reading. Let's see if the voltage calculations work. So I'm getting 161.9 volts. So let us see if our calculation could work. 161.8 volts. So we got an RMS value of 115.6 volts. That is RMS, and I'm going to minus 2 diode drops from it, which is 2 by 0.7, which is 1.4, and that will give me the RMS after the diode has dropped the voltage. And now I'm going to calculate the peak current, so I have to multiply by square root 2, and I'm going to get 161.5, which compares well enough to our 161 value that we got. Okay, so this capacitor charges up to 159, 160 depending on our household voltage here, volts DC. Now once it charges up, that is not really an indication that it is charging. That is just the peak voltage from the bridge rectifier. But if when you switch the current off you see it discharge in a sort of exponential way, then you know that it was charged and now it is discharging. Some capacitors do not discharge, so this is where you have to be careful that you can get a very bad shock from it. And you could discharge it two ways: by connecting a voltmeter or resistor to it, and there's another way. You could also disconnect the capacitor, discharge the capacitor by using a screwdriver to short the terminals. Now in this case 8 volts would not even spark, but in those capacitors that don't discharge, some don't, you will get a very big spark here, and that could be lethal if you touch it without discharging the capacitors. So beware of that.